she released a tweet about 37 minutes ago. It stated the WNBA and WBPA have reached an agreement on a moratorium for league business. Sources tell ESPN this is necessary because the sides had failed to reach an agreement on a CBA agreement or an extension by the January.
That confusion you just heard? That's exactly how WNBA fans feel right now. January 9th came and went. The CBA deadline passed. And instead of clarity about whether we'll even have a 2026 season, the league dropped a word most people had to Google: moratorium. Ramona Shelburne broke the news on January 13th at 11 p.m. Eastern, and fans reacted instantly. What does this actually mean?
Because I need more clarity on this agreement, man. So I'm going to go to Google and look and see exactly what this means. So a moratorium is a temporary authorized suspension of an activity or legal obligation like halting debt payments, construction, or certain laws to provide a pause for review, reconstruction, or to address an urgent issue. The common types including financial debt relief, building, development, and legal.
So, what is a moratorium in sports terms? It's basically a temporary freeze on league business while both sides keep negotiating. Free agency, qualifying offers, and core player designations all get paused. The NBA uses moratoriums regularly during CBA talks, but there's a key difference. The NBA hits pause when they're close to a deal and just need a few more days to finalize details. The WNBA? They just imposed a moratorium because they missed the deadline and still have no agreement in sight.
In the 26 season, I do want to be clear there. I believe they reached an agreement to this just a proper word to continue negotiations, if I'm reading this correctly. So as of right now, it's still basically they still don't have a WNBA CBA agreement. Now, Alexa Philippou retweeted this as well. This is a very interesting story, man. We have been dealing with this for the last.
And that's the part everyone should be worried about. Qualifying offers were supposed to go out on January 11th. Free agency was set to begin, and teams needed to make core player decisions. Instead, everything is on hold with no end date until a new CBA is ratified. The Players Union initially pushed back on the league's first moratorium proposal because it included extra language that wasn't necessary. They insisted that wording be removed before agreeing to the pause.
Supporting free agents until there was a new CBA agreement. So I'm wondering if the Players is doing this to stop free agency. That's what this tweet is saying. You know, somebody else said this is actually bad news for fans and coaches. Coaches will have to implement complex systems in a condensed offseason with very little time for players' development and chemistry building, which will hurt the product on the court. Now, sign replacement players. So
here's what's really happening. The moratorium only affects free agency transactions. Everything else in the current CBA stays in place under what both sides keep calling the status quo. That phrase has been repeated constantly over the past week. Translation: we're stuck and don't know how to move forward. Meanwhile, coaches are looking at empty rosters, unsure how they're supposed to build teams, implement systems, or develop any chemistry if free agency doesn't start until March or April.
Had me thinking we were going somewhere else. Right, man, like it had got so bad I straight had to Google what the word meant, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't even know what the damn word meant. Now, this is not a good look for the WNBA players or owners, man. Y'all still can't come up with an agreement. Y'all still can't come up with a system in place to get us a 2026 season. Because basically what y'all saying is that we still at the negotiation table. We still haven't made any progress in the current state of the whole negotiations.
Here's what makes this situation especially messy. Right now, only two players not on rookie contracts, Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown, are signed through 2026 outside the moratorium. Everyone else is in limbo. Teams can't send qualifying offers to restricted free agents, can't use core designations like the NFL's franchise tag, and can't negotiate new deals. The entire offseason is frozen. The longer this drags on, the less time teams will have to prepare for the 2026 season, assuming it even happens.
Look, man, because at the end of the day, fans and players need clarity. And it seemed like none of y'all know what the hell y'all doing. And we just sitting here now. Now we're just sitting here day in and day out. Y'all keep, once again, donkey in a carrot, bruh. Just looking very donkey in a carrot-ish. I just gotta be honest here with you guys. Let me see what Annie Constable said. Maybe Annie Constable might give us.
But here's why things are really stuck. The January 9th deadline wasn't random. It's in the current CBA as the date when either side can opt out and start renegotiations. The players opted out in 2024, pointing to the league's massive growth after Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Attendance records were broken, TV ratings tripled, and new media deals worth hundreds of millions came in. The players said, in effect, "We want our fair share of this growth before signing on for more years under the old agreement."
So WNBA and union agreed to freeze free agency as CBA talks drag on, man. So WNBA players and owners have agreed to a motion freezing free agency. A source familiar with the negotiation told for Sports Monday evening. As the sides continue to negotiate a new collective bargaining, the league's initial motion was made roughly at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the union felt it contained unnecessary.
The owners are in a tricky spot. Revenue is up, yes, but they're also juggling expansion talks with new cities, finalizing a media rights deal, and trying to figure out how much of this growth is sustainable versus a one-year spike. On top of that, most WNBA teams still operate at a loss, subsidized by their NBA parent clubs. So when players push for much higher salary caps and revenue sharing, the owners respond. Prove this growth continues for another year before we commit.
The qualifying offers of core destination signing and all negotiation. The motion will end when a new collective bargaining agreement is rectified. So as of right now, they're using big words telling us it still ain't no damn 2026 season. Now, the glitch in the system is the results from January 9th when the deadline paused and they did not reach a CBA agreement. Now, typically during free agent period, qualifying offers including core destination, similar to the NFL franchise tag, could begin being sent out on January.
And that's the core tension. Players believe they've already proven the league's value and deserve immediate increases. Owners want more data before committing to financial plans they might not be able to sustain. Neither side is completely wrong, but they aren't finding middle ground. That brings us to the key question. What happens if no agreement is reached in the next few weeks?
Of their rookie skill deal. So as of right now, man, they stopping any talks with free agency. Now, Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown are the only players not on rookie contracts signed through 2026. Outside of this motion free agent deal, the conditions of the current CBA will remain in place as both sides continue negotiation. In this period of status quo, which I'm so tired of hearing about the status quo thing, because we're not I don't know what the hell they doing, man, but this is ugly because we constantly hearing about the status quo thing. We already talked about the status quo time after time again.
The most extreme option is a lockout. Owners could simply say, no agreement, no season. We've seen this in other leagues. The NBA lost half a season in past lockouts. That's devastating for everyone, especially a league like the WNBA, which is finally gaining mainstream attention. But it's also the ultimate leverage play. The question is, who has more to lose? Players have shorter careers and can't afford to miss a year of earnings. Owners can't afford to waste this peak moment of interest in women's basketball. Another possibility is replacement players. It sounds extreme, but it has precedent. The NFL used replacements during the 1987 strike, and the quality of play dropped sharply. Fans stayed away. It was a disaster, but it broke the union's leverage and forced players back under management's terms. Could the WNBA do something similar? Logistically, it would be nightmarish. College players can't participate without losing eligibility. International players have existing contracts, and a league would have to cobble together former pros, overseas veterans, and G League talent just to fill rosters. What makes this even more frustrating is the timing. The WNBA just had its best year ever. Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention. Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, and the rest of the 2024 rookie class delivered. Attendance was up across the board. Playoff games were must-watch TV. The Commissioner's Cup finally felt relevant. Every metric pointed toward growth and sustainability. This should have been the easiest CBA negotiation in league history. Instead, it's become a crisis that could derail all that momentum. Think about the timing. In January 2025, women's basketball is more popular than ever. Caitlin Clark is a household name. Brands are investing in WNBA partnerships, and networks are competing for broadcast rights. This is the moment the league has been building toward for 25 years, and instead of capitalizing on it, everyone is stuck in a negotiation stalemate that makes both sides look ineffective. The players have a real point. The 2024 salary cap was $1. $46 million per team, roughly what a single mid-level NBA player earns. Meanwhile, WNBA players are generating revenue, selling out arenas, and driving TV ratings that justify higher pay. Top players make about $250,000 in base salary. Sounds decent, but that's for 6 months of work, and most players play overseas in the offseason just to make a living wage. They aren't asking for NBA money. They want a fair share of the revenue they create. Owners also have a point. The WNBA's finances are complicated. Most teams are owned by NBA franchises that have been subsidizing losses for years. The league only recently became profitable overall. Expansion fees from new teams like Golden State and Toronto provide one-time capital infusions, not steady revenue. Even a new media deal, while bigger than previous contracts, is still tiny compared to men's sports. So when players push to double or triple the salary cap, owners have to ask, do the numbers even work? What's especially frustrating is that both sides should want a quick resolution. Every day the negotiations drag on. Teams fall behind in planning. Free agents can't make decisions. Coaches can't build rosters, and training camps risk being rushed. The quality of play in early 2026 games will suffer if players don't have enough time to build chemistry. And all of this is happening while the league is trying to integrate 2 expansion teams. A huge logistical challenge on its own. The moratorium also highlighted the negotiation dynamic. The union initially rejected the league's proposal because it included unnecessary language, showing that distrust between the sides is still high. They can't even agree on the terms of a temporary pause without arguing over the wording. That's not productive negotiation. It's a sign of fundamental disagreement about how to move forward. There's also an international angle that few are talking about. WNBA players earn most of their money overseas during the off-season. If the 2026 season is delayed or canceled, those international contracts become their only income, but European and Asian leagues schedule around WNBA availability. Open schedules for American players would disrupt those leagues too. This isn't just a domestic problem. It affects women's basketball globally. Looking at other leagues helps illustrate the risk. During the NBA lockout in 2011, both sides eventually struck a deal because missing games would cost everyone too much. The NBA was already highly profitable, so even losing half a season was painful but survivable. The WNBA doesn't have that safety net. Missing an entire season at this moment of peak interest could set the league back dramatically. Fans who just discovered women's basketball might move on, sponsors could redirect investments, and the momentum the league has built would vanish.
So what's the path forward? Realistically, both sides will need to compromise in the coming weeks. Players probably won't get everything they're asking for in salaries and revenue sharing. Owners will need to accept that the old financial model no longer works, and that players deserve a larger share of the league's growing pie. The moratorium gives them more time, but it doesn't fix the deeper disagreements over how to value the league's growth or who should benefit from it. Ironically, everyone wants the same outcome: a thriving, sustainable WNBA that pays players fairly and generates consistent profit. They're just arguing about how to get there and how to split the rewards. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Spring training should start in a few months. Free agency should be underway. Instead, everything is frozen while lawyers, agents, and union reps debate contract language. Here's the reality. This moratorium isn't good news dressed up in corporate terms. It's a clear sign that negotiations are stuck. Missing the January 9th deadline and needing to freeze league business shows just how far apart the sides still are. The longer this drags on, the higher the risk of a delayed 2026 season. Or no season at all. For fans, that leaves uncertainty. The WNBA just delivered its best season ever, breaking through to mainstream relevance, generating real revenue, and attracting serious attention. Now all of that is at risk because the league's leaders can't figure out how to share the success they helped create. That's not just disappointing, it's inexcusable.